The Gundam franchise is a cultural giant in Japan since its humble beginnings in 1979. A big contribution to its success has been with Gundam plastic models, or Gunpla for short, which took off in the 80s thanks to Bandai and is popular worldwide. Of course, with the Gundam franchise there are Gundam games as well, and there's even a series of games based around Gunpla, with us looking at Gundam Breaker 4, the 6th entry in the series following the first 3 games, New Gundam Breaker and Gundam Breaker Mobile. The game has you building and customizing Gunpla and taking your creation to fight other Gunpla in quests, the game's story mode, or online with friends. Gundam Breaker 4 is set several years after the end of Gundam Breaker 3, and the Gunpla battle simulator has evolved to being accessible from home by connecting to a G-base remotely and accessing a virtual world using your Gunpla as a digital avatar. The simulator is not only used for battle, but can be used to socialise, with the added features making it even more popular. The simulator has been renamed as Gunpla Battle Blaze Beyond Borders, or, funny enough, GB4 for short. The system is still in its testing phase, and you play the role of a self-insert whom you can name joining the system for the very first time. After being briefed by reception, you are approached by a young man with an SD or super deformed Gunpla avatar who introduces himself as Tao, a fellow player who offers to show you the ropes through the game's tutorial. After completing a mission and learning the ropes around customizing your Gunpla, the two of you take on another mission where you come to the assistance of Lin, another player who's starting out as well. After beating the boss of the area, Tao suggests forming a clan, and thus begins your adventures in the world of GB4. As you continue taking on missions, you'll learn more parts and unlock a bunch of features which will make you much stronger over the course of the game. But is it any good? Find out in The Good. The game's customization and how it affects gameplay is by far its strongest point. The game encourages you to customize, mix and match parts from different Gunpla sets to create something new. It could be a lore-accurate suit from Gundam Media, it could be a character or creation from another series, or it could be something unique. There are over 250 different Gunpla sets to choose from, each with different parts and weapons to make your creation. Parts can be obtained by fighting enemy Gunpla, and thankfully the game has done away with the approach New Gundam Breaker had introduced, so no more limiting yourself to how many parts you can carry and putting them into a container. Parts are broken off the enemies and you collect them that way. You can increase the amount of parts you obtain through the use of breaker boosters, which are awarded to you throughout the game. As you progress through the story, you also unlock quest missions that you can take on to get additional parts, materials to enhance them, and money which you can spend enhancing your Gunpla, or at the shop buying Gunpla sets, profile avatars and diorama pieces to create scenes in. Parts can be customised with different attributes, and this can be done later in the game by combining parts. Materials that you collect can be used to increase a part's level to make them stronger, or its rarity to allow you to add more attributes. Some parts have unique skills which you can use to attack or provide support in battle, such as the Zeta Gundam's arms having a grenade launcher to deal damage, and a wire to pull yourself or an enemy to one another, or the GN drive of a unit from Gundam 00 allowing you to activate Transam, which will enhance the performance of your Gunpla for a period of time, for example. Other skills can be used whenever your Gunpla enters Awakening mode. In this state, your Gunpla's abilities are enhanced, and depending on if you have certain equipped parts, you can have a unique finishing move that can either provide support or deal a large amount of damage. When these parts are mastered by having their rarity maxed out, they can be used by any Gunpla you make, regardless of whether you have that part equipped or not. If not equipped, the part that the skill is attached to will replace the respective part on your Gunpla with a holographic version of it, which, while seems jarring, I'm prepared to overlook given the fact that you can master parts to be able to have your Gunpla use these skills attached to it, much like back in Gundam Breaker 3. Late in the game, you will also unlock the use of ability cartridges, which can provide additional benefits or negative statuses depending on what you equip. As well as mixing and matching parts, you can also change a majority of the colours of the parts, and if you have parts with glowing sections, you can also change most of the colours of the glow too. The game does have scaling options, so you can make parts larger or smaller. In regard to default sizes, Gunpla in the game have been split into 4 grades: SD or Super Deformed, 1x144 high grade models, 1x100 master grade models, and 1x60 perfect grade models, with SD and high grade being the main parts you'll be using until you unlock master grade after beating the game. Perfect grade parts are not available, though you will be fighting against Gunpla of that size. You can pose your Gunpla with different backdrops, and you can make dioramas so you can recreate classic scenes or make your own with quite a number of options available to you. The customization is top notch, and I appreciate the game moving away from New Gundam Breaker's approach on it. I also enjoyed the game's social aspect and multiplayer. You can enter a multiplayer room to interact with other players, whether it's checking out their Gunpla, giving good builds to their profile, gallery and dioramas, joining a clan, or going on missions with them. You can partake in story missions or quests with other players, and doing this is an excellent way of earning parts and materials. There's a few different mission varieties ranging from destroying waves of enemies, gunning for a particular unit, defending an HLV as it prepares to launch into space, and of course fighting mobile armors and perfect grade Gunpla, which act as a boss battle of sorts, as they have several health bars to deplete, and often they will put up a shield when a lot of their health is depleted that you need to destroy to continue dealing damage to them. There is a monolith game mode too, where players have to defeat waves of enemies to remove the shield of a monolith that needs to be destroyed, but there is only one quest where you can do this, and about 4 story missions in late game where this will appear. Improving from Gundam Breaker 3, there is a larger variety of SD Gundam units, and there are more missions and waves involving them too. The game also has a bounty hunter mode, which while isn't multiplayer, will allow you to select up to 3 opponents to fight in a team battle, with the opponents potentially being Gunpla made by other players, and with the chance of you getting some of their parts when beaten. The game also has a survival mode where you fight and try to survive up to 50 increasingly difficult waves of enemies, with every 5th wave being a mobile armor or perfect grade enemy. Survival mode can be tackled alone or with friends, but it's over for you once your health drops to 0. I really enjoyed the gameplay and the multiplayer, which I feel is on par with Gundam Breaker 3, but certainly better than New Gundam Breaker. But the game isn't without its faults, so we'll discuss those in The Bad. The game's story I feel is a step back from Gundam Breaker 3. Without spoiling too much, a lot of the plot points you could see from almost a mile away, and the big bad is almost immediately established when you first meet them, and I feel that there was much less at stake later on in the game compared to Gundam Breaker 3. The story is split into 7 chapters, and to be honest, by the time you get there you can kinda sympathise with where the big bad was coming from, though the methods taken are clearly wrong. As you progress through the story, your single player clan gains new members, and there are story missions that do provide some focus on them and their backstory, but I feel that they aren't always elaborated on enough, so I didn't really connect with a lot of the supporting cast to care too much. Some I feel didn't really get a proper resolution, which to me felt quite jarring. On the plus side, there are cameo appearances from characters in the series, which I thought was a pretty neat touch, but overall, I think the story in this game is weaker than Gundam Breaker 3, but still more serious than New Gundam Breaker. The game's AI could use some work. I found myself doing a lot of the heavy lifting in the game while the AI teammates just hang off to the side while launching the occasional attack. The only time they've been really useful is in the off chance I lost all my health, and while waiting to revive, one may act as a distraction while the other revives me, if they choose to revive me. Sometimes they just fly around the area and the revive timer runs out, or I choose to get back in the game early and use up one of my continues to do so. Thankfully, this doesn't affect the mission rating. Your partners for story missions and quests are set, but you do get to choose your partners at certain points in the story, and if you're replaying a mission or quest. If replaying a mission or quest, you can even assign your custom Gunpla for your partners to use as well, which I guess was pretty cool, but overall the AI could certainly use some work. Enemy AI I thought was a lot smarter, as they often try to avoid you in order to ruin your break or hit combos, and in harder difficulties they can become damage sponges, so your break counter will naturally time out because you couldn't deplete their health bar quickly enough. While I was fine with the enemy AI, the partner AI definitely did need some more work, as I found them mostly useless throughout my time with the game. This issue is more on the PC version of the game and can possibly be disregarded if fixed, but there is an issue with matchmaking. In order to join other players on missions, you need to all be in the same download region. On Steam, this requires you to go into the settings in order to change it, and then restart Steam, and even then you're still playing a guessing game in regard to what region random people in multiplayer are in or have set to. I hear that this is a common issue for some games, but this was annoying me enough to warrant being mentioned. Other than that, I think we're done here, so let's move on and wrap things up with The Opinion. First of all, if you're a Gundam fan, then this is right up your alley, especially if you want to return to the way Gundam Breaker 3 did things. The game is an improvement over Gundam Breaker 3 in a few areas, and significantly better than new Gundam Breaker. The customization remains its strongest point, and I had an easier time leveling and maxing out my parts compared to Gundam Breaker 3. There's a better variety of gunpla to choose from, and I'm hoping more gets added over time. I had a lot of fun with multiplayer, and it was really cool doing missions with people and seeing how creative their gunpla are. The game is a letdown with a weaker story and poor friendly AI, as well as connecting to players on PC, but overall my experience in Gundam Breaker 4 has been positive. I did come across one instance where the game crashed my PC, and there was a minor bug telling me custom poses and dioramas have been unlocked over and over, though with the latter this has been identified and will be patched. If you like building and customizing gunpla, and then destroying other people's gunpla with it, you'll get a lot of mileage from this game, though it isn't without its faults. So with that, it's time for my rating. I would give Gundam Breaker 4 the MSA 0011 S Gundam out of 10. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next Infinite Backlog review. If you enjoyed today's review, feel free to check out some of our other videos and subscribe for more. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram and our Facebook page. Once again, thank you for watching.